Welcome to our talk 363, reporting data collection in mixed methods research. Reporting data collection in mixed methods research has been described under 5 points. But it is just for understanding. Actually, it is a running paragraph in the research report. Let us see. The data collection for this mixed method study involved both quantitative and qualitative components. See the meanings in this part of this sentence. There is data collection for mixed method research involved both components, means quantitative and qualitative. See after comma, conducted in person by the researcher to ensure procedural accuracy, contextual sensitivity and trust building with participants. So the data were collected by the researcher. Why? For procedural accuracy, contextual sensitivity means see what was happening in the context at that place where the data was being collected, and trust building. Of course, trust is built when we meet face to face. Second point, this dual approach, dual means quantitative and qualitative. So this dual approach enabled triangulation and strengthened the evidence base regarding the research problem from both numerical and narrative perspectives. So due to this approach, what we got, one is triangulation, second is strengthened evidence base, or we get the more evidence about the research problem in the form of numerical data and narrative data. Now come to point 3. All necessary permissions were obtained from institutional authorities before data collection. So see, we need to mention the permissions in the reporting of data. Fourth point is, participants were thoroughly briefed about the purpose of study, their volunteer participation and their rights. Rights include anonymity, their name will not be shown confidentially, the data will not be shared with any third party, and the option to withdraw at any time. The participant, even after collection of data, may ask us, please do not include the data collected from that very participant, and we are bound to do that. Fifth point is, the university's ethical guidelines were strictly adhered to throughout the process of data collection. So see, these 5 points have been mentioned only for clarification, otherwise it is single paragraph in the report of a mixed methods research. Second slide, reporting quantitative data collection. Because mixed method includes both quantitative and qualitative components, so we describe data collection of both components separately. Let's see. Quantitative data were collected using structured questionnaires to capture measurable trends and patterns. You see that the quantitative research is usually done to see the trends and patterns in the data. The researcher personally administered the instrument during scheduled visits to the participating educational institution. See the mentioning of the person collecting the data, and there were scheduled visits of the educational institutions. See the points which have been including in reporting the data collection. Now, if we consider the remaining part of this slide, there are 8 points which needs to be included in reporting the quantitative data collection. So, these headings may not be there, but these 8 points must be in the reporting of quantitative data collection. Let us see point by point. First is permissions. Prior written permission was obtained from the school principals. Briefing. At the start of each session, the researcher introduced the study, explained its purpose, and addressed participant queries, if any, of course. Administration. Printed questionnaires were distributed by the researcher, who remained present to clarify questions without influencing responses. So, the method of administration of the tool must be there in reporting the quantitative data collection. Now, we come to the setting. Questionnaires were completed in staff rooms, meeting halls, or unoccupied classrooms to minimize academic disruption. So, settings are places of data collection or part of the reporting of quantitative data collection. Next thing is timing. Each participant was given 15 to 20 minutes to complete the questionnaire. Here, a group of students or the participants may be filling the questionnaires at a time, of course, each getting 15 to 20 minutes, as all students get 3 hours for solving the paper in an examination hall. The same 3 hours are available to every examinee in the examination hall. Next is language support. Although the questionnaire was in English, but brief explanations were provided in Urdu when necessary. Seventh thing is consent. Written informed consent forms were signed by all participants. The last one is data security. Completed questionnaires were collected immediately and stored safely. Welcome to reporting qualitative data collection. Again, qualitative data collection has been described under headings, but usually the report writing formats allow a continuous or running paragraph. Here separation means please do consider inclusion of all these 8 points in reporting the qualitative data collection. So, qualitative data were collected using semi-structured or semi-structured, as you are comfortable with the pronunciation, in-depth interviews designed to explore participants' experiences, beliefs, and contextual insights. So, the qualitative part actually focuses the depth of the experiences of the participants and belief they keep on the context in which they live and experience the things we are asking for. Now come to the 8 points which are part of the reporting of qualitative data collection. First one is again permissions and scheduling. Interview permissions were secured from institutional heads and appointments were scheduled at mutual convenient times. So we do a schedule in advance the interviews. So the second thing is pre-interview briefing. Each participant received a verbal explanation of the interview's objectives, structure, expected duration, and ethical safeguards. So we brief that why we are conducting interview, what will be the structure, what will be the duration and ethical safeguard. Even after recording the interview, the respondent may say that, the participant may say that, please do not include my interview in your study, and we are again, as I said earlier, we are bound to do that. Third one is conducting interviews. All interviews were conducted face to face in a conversational, respectful manner in quiet, private locations such as offices or empty classrooms. So, the comfort of interviewee is the prerequisite for getting the true information from any interview. Now, the fourth one is duration. Interviews lasted approximately 30 to 45 minutes depending on the depth of discussion. As you know, the discussion may vary from person to person. Fifth one is language. Interviews were conducted in English or Urdu based on participant preference. Some are comfortable in English and majority is comfortable in Urdu, and we prefer the language they want to use. Next one is consent and recording. Written and verbal consent was obtained for participation and audio recording. Recordings were securely stored and transcriptions anonymized. Security is prime here in recording and getting the consent. Field notes. The researcher also recorded observational notes before, during, and after interviews to capture non-verbal cues and contextual details. Sometimes context speaks more than the words. The eighth one is ethical compliance. All qualitative procedures complied with institutional ethical standards, maintaining participants' dignity, privacy, and autonomy. So, in all the data collections, we keep the process authentic, we do respect the participant and do care the dignity, privacy, autonomy, and other types of respects of the participant. Thank you very much for being with me. See you in the next video.